Here's a Get Real fact. Lee Wetherington, founder of Lee Wetherington Homes, has a charitable foundation that recently exceeded the $1 million mark. He's a CEO committed to the Suncoast community and is one of the area's most dedicated philanthropists. Our next guest, Lee Wetherington, grew up in Jacksonville, Florida in a family of builders and has worked in the construction industry for his entire life. After serving in Vietnam with the U.S. Marine Corps, he moved to Sarasota in the 1970s, joining forces with another builder before founding Lee Wetherington Homes. Since that time, Wetherington has dedicated himself to the growth of his company, establishing an enviable reputation as a design-oriented, detail-driven builder of high-quality, single-family homes. Thanks so much for joining us, Lee.
Well, thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Are
doing
you?
Great.
Good.
As long as the weather's good.
Yeah, definitely, right?
Yeah, right.
So let me ask you, when you started building homes now close to 40 years ago, did you ever think that you would have such a huge home building company and successful company here on the Suncoast?
Well, it wasn't my goal in the beginning. I was more or less going to keep it a smaller company and more detail oriented, and it just over a period of time there was a following. We picked up a following, and we had the opportunity to go into some different areas and took those opportunities, and it grew. And then right now we're back to a little bit of a smaller company and a little bit more detail-oriented and customer service-oriented. So that's our focus now.
It seems like anyone who has a Lee Wetherington home becomes a raving fan. What is it about Lee Wetherington Homes that really makes you different and stand out?
Well, we're a custom builder, so we listen to what they want, try to give it to them in a very affordable way, and our key, I think, is service after the sale. I mean, we have great service before the sale. During construction, of course, it's always crazy and emotional and everything. And then after the sale is where we shine. So we go back to homes years and years after they're built and help our clients solve problems and work with them. So usually if you do that, everything's good.
Yeah, absolutely. The company is based out of a beautiful design center in Lakewood Ranch. It's a 12,500 square foot design center where the corporate offices are. Tell me a little bit about the design center and what people can expect there.
Well, if they buy a home from us, what we try to do is we were one of the very first builders to have a design center many, many years ago. And our whole goal was to have people that bought a home from us could come to one spot and not have to shop around at many different places. And we took the work out because we ask all our subcontractors, what product would you put in here if you're putting it in your home? Mm-hmm. And so we wouldn't have problems with it later on. So we focused on, if it's plumbing fixtures, focused on plumbing fixtures that would cause us problems later on, cabinets, flooring, all the many things that go in a home. And we also have a designer that sits down, and we have a very structured list that we go through to make sure we give them everything they want, and then make sure it gets into the house. And if there's a problem in getting it, or there is a problem, then our goal is to keep solid communication with them.
Great. It definitely shows, and your customers, like I said, are raving fans. So we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you are a dedicated philanthropist here on the Suncoast. Yes. Why is that such a big part of your corporate and personal philosophy?
Well, I started many, many years ago just doing some smaller stuff, and I found out a couple of things. Number one, first of all, it feels good. Yeah, it really does. It feels good. And secondly, having come from a background that needed help at times, it became important for myself and the culture to accept this and try to give as much back to the community as we could. So it seems that everything I do seems to grow and get bigger. So every time I do something, somebody else will come along and say, why don't you do this and this and this? And then after years and years and years, we were doing some pretty big projects, and it became a kind of a cultural thing. And it's nice to see the many things that we've done and get recognized for them.
I know you give to a lot of different causes, but what are some of the ones that are close to your heart?
Well, obviously the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
We do a lot of work there. I just finished a large remodel of a teen center, as you know.
I saw it, yeah.
Up in Manatee. We're getting ready to start some work on the Lee Wetherington Club. The foundation paid for the entire painting of the club outside,
wow,
which was a huge project. But the Boys and Girls Club, but there's so many other things that we work on. You know, there's churches that we work with. One of my favorites right now is an organization called Castle, who is really great. They take people that would normally be in institutions and put them in homes. And a couple of years ago, I built a house for them and gave it to them, so to speak.
Wow.
And that was huge.
That's great.
Huge.
All right, so last question.
Okay.
You are kind of like an expert in the real estate market. Predictions for the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, I think what we're going to be facing, unfortunately, is some spiraling price increases. It seems to always be that way in the industry because what's happened is a lot of the manufacturers haven't amped up yet. And they don't want to amp up because they had to lower their prices to the point where they're just barely making money. So they're going to increase their prices now and see it and how long the market's going to hold. So we're going to get some really incredible price increases over the next 2 or 3 years. Managing that is going to be very important. And there's also a labor shortage.
Right.
A tremendous labor shortage. And that's got to be filled. And obviously, a lot of our best labor is Hispanic.
Yeah.
So a lot of them went back to Mexico, and whether they come back or not, and not everybody wants to be in the construction business. So although there's plenty of jobs and you can make plenty of money, not everybody wants to do it. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a labor and material shortage we're going to be facing, which is going to make the homes, it's going to be another month or two building the homes, and I think our job is to make sure that our clients know that and be prepared for it.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us.
We
really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We actually earlier in the week had a chance to catch up with the Vice President of Sales and Marketing from Lee Weatherington Homes out on site in Lakewood Ranch. So take a look at this with Peter Mason. Hey everybody, we're here in Lakewood Ranch at Country Club East, and I'm with Peter Mason, who's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Lee Weatherington Homes. We're going to go check out this beautiful model. Ready?
Yes, let's go see it.
I'm excited to be talking to you about the market. Sales seem to be great for Lee Weatherington Homes this year. Tell me about that.
It certainly is. Thank you for having me on your show. We're about 40 to 50% ahead of last year's pace of sales, and I think that's from pent-up demand that our northern and midwestern clients are finding that it's the time to buy, and because there's not a lot of inventory for them to choose from, they're seeing that new versus used is really a good bargain. They get current codes and more energy efficiency, and they can pick what they want. So it really is the time to buy.
So you guys are at a lot of different places. Tell me where Lee Weatherington Homes is building and what's coming up for you.
Okay, we're currently here in Lakewood Ranch, Country Club East. We've been in Lakewood Ranch since 1995. We were the first builder chosen to build in the ranch, and so we've always enjoyed a nice relationship here and actually sold a lot of homes. We are in 3 sections in Country Club East, and this is the Murano model, which is in the Camargo section. Okay. Other golf course communities that we have are the Founders Club on Fruitville Road, and that is a spectacular property with oak hammocks, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece of property, and I think it's really coming into its own as people are discovering it there. In addition, another golf course community is the Concessions, which is just a little further east from here. That's a Jack Nicklaus private course, beautiful, beautiful lots, large lots, 100 by 300 foot lots, and that's going to be a new models are going to come out in about a year from now. We're in Central Park, which is a more price sensitive but lovely property here on the ranch for families right across from Lakewood Ranch High School and by the Y, so the location is great, and really the families are really gravitating to that property. And then we also have a maintenance-free property down in North Venice on Laurel Road called Willow Chase, and that's doing real well. We're finishing out a few lots there too. And then in addition to that, we just signed up a place called Marshall's Landing, and that's off of 70 west of the interstate, but it's on the Braden River, and it really has that old Florida look. All the houses are on the water. You can have a dock, and for kayaking or boating, it's really a really special little enclave, which we think have high hopes for.
That's great. Yeah, some of those home sites in Marshall's Landing are actually gorgeous, right on the water, boatable in Marshall's Landing,
Every
right?
one of them, yes.
That's great.
Right.
So tell me about, I know you have a lot of different floor plans, and people can actually customize their floor plan with Lee Weatherington Homes, and in fact they can actually even build on their own lot right?
Correct. Thank you for bringing that up. Part of our business has been to build our plans on their lot, and we have everything from east on large parcels, 5-10 acre tracts that people have, and then we even have some Siesta Key and Bird Key and the barrier islands. So we have the ability with the staff and in-house architecture to change plans, to do whatever the customer is looking to do, and that's been a big part of our business that's emerging. Currently, we're sitting in the Murano model here in Country Club East, and this was our award winner. It swept the Parade of Homes in its category, it won everything, and so we're very proud of it. And we are going to take this home and do a Murano 2, a slightly bigger version in the concession.
Okay.
Because it's been so successful for us. We also have our Cerezo 2 and our new Solavita model, which are in other sections here in Country Club East. And those three plans really are really well accepted, and they are third and fourth generations of original plans that have been modified with a lot of things that people, our customers, have actually come up with. And we take the ideas that people come up with and we incorporate them into our plans and our thinking, and the plans evolve, and we think that by the third, fourth generation they're pretty good and people seem to like them.
Great. All right, last question. It seems like a lot of people say that one of the big features they really love with the Lee Weatherington home are the unique design features. So talk to me a little bit about those and what you think people or the market really likes the best about the little nuances that Lee Weatherington Homes does.
We've always called it the Lee Weatherington difference, and for years Lee has always been a design leader in the marketplace, and I think it's attention to detail. The ceilings, the tile patterns, the master bathroom, everything that we do, we put a lot of time and effort into. And currently, the outdoor-indoor aspects of the houses are really what most people are looking for. And so I think as we've expanded the outdoor living spaces with kitchens and TVs and fireplaces and all the fire pits, and all the things that are really fun, and then having our own pool company really helps bring the tie it together for the outside living, and we try to do that outside, inside, back and forth with our plans, and that's what really helps people.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For more information about Lee Weatherington Homes, you can check them out online at lwhomes.com.